crime. She's an amazing leader. She's truly a self-motivator. She's what I call a go-getter, an inspiration to so many, and most of all, she's my friend.
It's on.
Bekah attended a cooking show that I was a consultant for and decided to give the business a try. She joined my team in September of 2017 with a really little bitty goal in mind. She shared with me she had a goal to earn roughly about $300 to help buy a new couch and to have a little bit of extra fun money. She was quickly motivated by the money and the incentives from the fast track and quickly promoted to a fast track director, on to a fast track advanced director, and is now a senior director. Woo! She not only earned a top-level Hawaii trip, but I'm proud to say she was number 4th in the company in Trip Achiever points, which is pretty awesome. You will see her walk the stage this conference for earning excellence in 3 categories, and she also earned founders in sales, recruiting, and developing leaders. Yeah, pretty awesome, right? Bekah and her organization has grown to over 175 members. She now has 8 first-generation directors and 1 second-gen director. They are on their way to an executive director team, and there is not a doubt in my mind that they will get there. One of the programs that Bekah and I have partnered on that we are super proud of is our Rock Stars on the Rise group. This is a program that was designed to help promote strong leaders and to help them to be successful. Bekah's personal business is stronger than ever before, and her leadership is truly top-notch. So with no further ado, I present to you Miss Bekah Yawn.
Okay, hello. I'm going to try to stand, but this baby's kicking my butt, so I might have to sit down in a little bit. Thank you, Ellington, so much for that amazing introduction. Without you, there'd be no way that I would be where I am today without all the inspiration and motivation that you've given me. So thank you so much for your overwhelming belief in me and the time you've invested in me and how you have set that pace for me to accomplish huge dreams. Before I begin, thank you so much for allowing me to come speak to you tonight. But I also have to state that my journey with Pampered Chef has been a journey with my faith in God. I have been pushed to work this business with open hands to His plan, to trust in Him when things felt shaky, as we all feel shaky sometimes, and to praise Him when the blessings poured in. So my business is one that is prayerfully His, and I cannot take any credit for this success because it's His blessing. Amen. So I've been asked to speak to you this evening with the hopes to inspire and motivate each one of you. This is what I've achieved this past year in the company in my 2nd year of business. Tonight I want to not only give you the how for how I did it, but the true seeds that led to this year of blossoming in my career. Don't get me wrong, the stats above might look amazing, but if you take a closer look, you might see some discrepancies. While I did have an incredible year of accomplishments and successes, I also had a very large share of failures and misses. And I don't want any of you to get the picture that I'm the perfect person who does not struggle. Looking at my sales, honestly, I'm very happy and thankful for that for this year. Now, as I look at how many people I actually recruited, I had less than 50% qualify. To me, that is a miss that I'm learning from for how can I make that better this year. For developing leaders, if all 12 of those leaders that had promoted with me were still directors, I would have 48 developing leader points and would certainly have carried an executive title by this point in my career. But I believe this failure shows my youth in this business and how much I have to learn, not just in developing leaders, but truly becoming a servant leader to my leaders who truly cares about each person who is promoted and supporting them to achieve their goals and dreams. I just wanted to give you guys a realistic picture of this past year. I don't want to mislead anyone that this was easy. Honestly, I could have given up and thrown in the towel when I lost my first director. I could have said this isn't worth my time when I would recruit someone and invest time in them, and then they didn't qualify, or even text me back. But the reason I've had such success is because I did the opposite. When I failed, I kept going. When I lost a leader, I was already working on my next one to promote and asking myself, what can I do differently to help prevent that from happening again? It is because of my failures that I've had success. Without them, I would be a flower unable to withstand the storm. I truly hope by the end of my time speaking with you, you feel empowered with new tools to apply to your own business, so get your pens handy. But mostly with a new perspective of how you can achieve what is your impossible dream. So the why before the how. Before we get to the nitty-gritty specifics of the selling, recruiting, and developing leaders that I'm sure you're curious about, I don't believe we can reach any of those areas without first addressing a few essential topics. I would contribute the mass of my success to two things. Number one, I have a very strong why. And number two, I'm very self-disciplined in pursuing training and personal growth. What gets me out of bed, even throughout the ups and downs of this pregnancy, is my why. I know that my income allows me to stay from home and work at home and be my own boss and not have to report to anybody except for myself. I know that I'm building a business and a foundation that allows us to pay for our beautiful home that we were able to just purchase because of Pampered Chef. And I'll get to raise my own child in just a couple months from home. I know that this business is our means to helping pay for our son's birth, life, and even his own college fund.
Woohoo!
I know that without Pampered Chef, the means to these things would be so much more difficult. So that's what makes me get out of bed every day and work my butt off. So I want to ask each of you, do you know your why? Does it move you to get out of bed in the morning? Does it motivate you to want to learn more? And from those who are having success. Does it squeeze your heart? Does it make you cry? If it doesn't, find it. That is where you will find true success. It doesn't have to be a full-time gig with Pampered Chef. It can be on a smaller scale, but it should still motivate you to get work done. I believe the second great contributor to success is self-discipline and the pursuit of personal growth. Since I've been a consultant, I've only missed one monthly meeting with our organization. I have sought out and listened to more trainings than I can count. I have researched to learn who are the most successful people in the company and how can I learn from them. I have attended every retreat, training program, seminar, and anything else that I can learn from offered to me. There has been a small belief in me that even if I don't feel like going to one, which trust me, there were a couple in my first trimester that I did not feel like going to, or if I didn't want to pay to travel or go to it, I believed that going to that event or retreat could be just the thing that gives me the light bulb or tools to success that I needed. And that belief has certainly proved itself to be true. In addition to trainings and events, I have finally put into practice the motto, leaders are readers. I'm so sorry. I don't know if there's a tissue.
Yeah, I have no tissue. There you go. Thank you. Do you have tissue?
Yeah.
Mom said never leave home without it.
That's why my team gets tissues every year.
That's
It's hormones.
I wish I could play that one.
Mom's going to be shocked. I'm usually not a crier.
Just wait.
So I heard over and over from our field development leaders with home office that leaders are readers. And I'd also heard this from so many other successful people in the company. But I immaturely continue to think, that's not for me. I'm doing very well as it is, and I don't have time to read, and I don't need to. Until finally, at one of those seminars that I made myself go to, A short video was played where I heard the magic line, "Read just 10 pages of a good book every day." Y'all should write that line down. And when I heard that, I thought, I could read 10 pages a day. When you do that every day, you'll read about 13 books in a whole year. And since I've heard that line, I've read 3 phenomenal books that have challenged my character, purpose, and habits to be so much more than who I am today. I plan to continue doing that. So I challenge each of you. How diligent are you in attending your team's monthly meetings, retreats, trainings? Have you also had the thought, I don't have time to read? How will you change your habits to reach the dreams and goals you have for yourself? It starts with you and with a choice. Okay, so let's talk about how it's really done. Here's where you're going to want to take some notes when we get here. So you may have done the math on $160,000 in 1 year that I did, and that breaks down to an average of over $13,000 in sales per month. That number, I know, can sound staggering, but I believe that everybody has the ability to do the same. I'm not anything special, it's just likely that I'm doing more parties than the average person. So how many shows would you like to run per week? How many do you run right now? Do you feel like selling $5,000, $10K, $15K, or even $20,000 in 1 month is impossible? Think again, because it might be more attainable than you believe. For the majority of this past year, I was about 60-40 percentage-wise with virtual to cooking shows. My cooking show schedule has decreased with this pregnancy, and I've upped my virtual schedule to continue selling strong. At this stage in life, I run about 10 online parties per week and 1 to 2 cooking shows per month. For the majority of the year, I did about 3 to 5 online parties per week and 2 to 3 cooking shows per week. Starting in January, I began adding 1 to 2 online parties per week to my show schedule until I reached my goal of running 10 per week. And y'all ought to know I'm going to be shooting for 11 or 12 soon. There is a lot of strategy behind scheduling 10 parties a week. Although that might be what my calendar is filled with, out of 10 parties, I expect about 1 to reschedule, 1 to 2 to drop or flop, 2 to 3 to be mediocre with $200 to $300 in sales, 2 to 3 to be solid with $300 to $500 in sales, and about 2 to be $500 to $1,000 or more parties. This gets me to sell anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 or more per week, just depending on the week, and that's just with virtual parties. As far as the structure of my parties, I run them in groups and I use a hosting service. I do the majority of my host coaching in a group host coaching message to simplify the amount of time spent messaging hosts. The schedule I run is strategic to optimize time for sales and interaction, but also to work very minimally on weekends because I like the break and that's family time for us. I make my groups on Mondays and just work with the hosts on getting people in the group from Monday to Wednesday. No posting, because I understand that it takes time for hosts to get lots of people in the group, and the number of people in those Facebook groups are your best indicator for sales. I do pre-party Thursday and Friday, and full party posting Saturday to Tuesday. Even though the party is rocking out on the weekend, I only check in on them once or twice a day to reply to comments, and I send my host post for the day. Wednesday is a wrap-up order day, and Thursday is an extension day. Parties close on Fridays. Keeping a consistent schedule helps me to stay organized with that kind of party volume. I'll share with you some verbiage examples in a moment for building relationships with guests and getting bookings from all those parties. But lastly, I have to share with you this big tip for how to do all this sanely. It's with systems. I use Google Tasks. Google Tasks. Y'all write that down. Go watch some YouTube videos. I use that to help keep me organized with what tasks I need to do daily, weekly, and monthly. If I didn't use that, there is no way I could get it all done. I also hire an assistant to take care of anything that does not require my personality. Okay. So here are some relationship building examples. So when it comes to bookings, as Yawn mentioned, when it comes to recruiting, you'll get the theme here that this business is a relationship-built business. On my second pre-party day, I play a guessing game where the guests message me in the party. I also make it a point to tag every person in the group to play that game in a comment. That way more people message me. I start off with thanking them for playing and joining the show, asking how they know the host, and what their experience with Pampered Chef is. When they reply, I ask more about their favorite products or cooking experience, and I also ask what keeps them busy. This allows me to get to know them, establish rapport, and build a relationship. So to save time with messaging all these lovely people, I use the text replacement function on my iPhone to quickly type a code I have chosen for a generic but authentic message to learn these things from the people messaging me. And each of those messages on there are from my text replacement on my phone that I'll send to anybody and everybody. So let's talk a little bit about bookings. Typically on Mondays, as the parties are starting to wind down, I scroll through the entire party top to bottom and I track each person that has made more than one comment. I then send them a message if they have already messaged me. And I ask them about having their own party, given how fun they've been in this one. Another message I will send to people who comment on the wish list post is listed above. This is a post that I have the host post into the party about if they could get anything from Pampered Chef and money were not an issue, what would they get? That is a key person for your next host. I also work with the host to send messages to get bookings, especially if I have not connected with someone who is active in the party. By doing this, I work to get 3 bookings from every show. While it doesn't happen every time, I do usually book 12 to 15 parties each week from the 7 to 8 parties that I actually run. This allows me to book out in advance and keep a full calendar several months ahead. So we heard some amazing advice and tips from Yawn just recently about recruiting, so I don't want to dive too deeply into it. But I do just want to give a few quick tips on recruiting in virtual parties. So remember how I mentioned to play a guessing game in your pre-party day where they message you? At this point, you should have built some rapport and gotten to know those people. To add to that, a few days into the party, you want to play something called a paycheck game, where all the guests message you, again, their guess for how much money you or your upline made last month. When they send you that guess, you reply with an answer and simply ask them to tell you what they think. They'll reply with an awesome or way to go. And then you have the open door to ask if they have ever thought about trying something like Pampered Chef. Or I loved Yvonne's tip. Have they ever thought about trying something for some extra fun or money? I might be changing my verbiage. That is the doorway to recruiting guests in your parties. Your biggest recruit leads will be your hosts. Throughout the duration of the party, you should be planting a recruiting seed with each host at least every other day in the party. You will get big results from this. This is something that my team hears and you hear. We have all heard, ask every host 5 times, but do you ask every host 5 times?
No.
Every host. No. So next, let's chat about how to get a new recruit signed and on a fast pace. Have you ever struggled with getting a recruit to get going strong? Has anyone ever had a recruit join and then never do a thing?
Never.
Trust me, we have all been there. This is what I've found works well, and I can't take credit for it. I've adapted it from Donna Landy and Claudia Bazar's training for how they onboard new consultants. So either the day they sign or the day after, you hop on that phone with them to do their first training. This training is really just to get to know them, go over the new consultant rewards they're now eligible for, and get them super excited about earning them. And then you're going to start coaching them to book 4 online parties per week. You will give them a goal to send 30 booking messages a day for the next 2 days and set a goal for how many parties they will book from that. That is it. Only focus on getting the bookings. Then the technical part of how to set them up and how they will do them will come later. You do not want to overwhelm them with videos and trainings to watch. Just have them make those contacts and get those parties on their calendar, because trust me, they'll do whatever you say once they have people booked on their calendar. You want to check in with your new consultants almost daily when they're brand new to support them and see how they're doing. Once they've gotten those bookings, then you will give them the how in support for exactly how you do the virtual party and how they will do it. Using systems like making videos or documents for them to follow is helpful for them, and it saves time for you. Keep encouraging them to be sending messages and working to book for 4 parties per week for the first month, and then to continue that pace. In regards to the Fast Track program, this is something that I address on the first call. I let them know that after their first few rounds of parties, it is something we will revisit, but I do ask if they have interest in earning that cash bonus. It is planting a seed to let them know that it is there, and once they do their first couple rounds of parties, I'm able to see who can really work at that director pace and would be a great fit for it. So we've arrived to developing directors, what I believe is one of the highest skills a consultant in the Pampered Chef can attain and work to master. What skill do you want to grow in your business? Is it host coaching, selling, recruiting, developing leaders, organizational sales? Have you developed your own director before? What was it like when they achieved their first month of directorship? Or are you sitting there thinking, lady, I haven't even promoted myself to a director yet? Just listening to the beauty of what it's like to be a leader that promotes leaders. Developing a leader is absolutely not about you. It is about helping someone achieve what they believe to be impossible. You might be the only person in that potential director's life who believes in them, cheers them on, and coaches them to accomplish an incredible feat in our company. And I mean that with the most seriousness, because you really might be the only one. I constantly think back to how Ellengton supported me so strongly when I worked to promote to a director. I think back of how if she had never told me about that $500, I would have never, ever tried to promote to a director on my own. It was her belief and encouragement that led me to work towards it. That is what we are as leaders who develop leaders. We are inspirational, motivational, and the heart of life change to others. Before you can think about promoting your own director, you have to know why you want to promote directors. It's about changing their life and helping them to do something they never thought they could do. There is nothing more fulfilling than helping someone reach a goal like that. It is the hardest work you will do, but it is the most fulfilling when it's achieved. It brings tears to my eyes and the biggest smile to my heart to have 9 out of 11 of my directors in my organization here today in this room. Woo! Woohoo! So guys, I want you to stand up and wave, because you guys are walking testimonies of hard work and achieving the impossible. So proud of each one of them. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of it. How does one promote a director? We already addressed how you will plant the fast track seed for your new recruits in their very first training. After that, you want to support your new people to have rocking shows. It will be evident to you who is rocking it and who has that chops for directorship. They are the consultants who are doing everything you say. Following your outline and advice for their parties. Running 2 to 4 parties a week like you coached them. And selling really strong. Those are your next directors. Next, like with all other aspects of our business, you have to have a system for promoting directors. Our system, as Ellington mentioned, is the Rockstars on the Rise program. We've developed this for the organization and for those potential leaders. We start a new Rockstars group mid-month and have 2 different training calls that are solely focused on bookings. These calls are 1 week apart. This is phase 1 of the training, and we coach and support these leaders to graduate to phase 2 of the program with 16 virtual parties for the month and 12 virtual parties at the minimum. We coach them for how to get the bookings and how to have rocking shows. The goal is for them to have the show calendar by the 1st of the month. For the ones who graduate to phase 2 of the training, it then turns into one-on-one calls with their leader and either Ellengton or I that are solely focused on show-based coaching and recruiting. These are weekly calls with their promotion date being the end of that month. We have an outline of this program to share with you all, which Marie will share on the PChef website.
Woohoo! Thank you.
So every month, for new people and also team members who have been in the business for a while but are ready to step it up even more, we invite them to be a part of this Rockstars group, to excel and grow as a consultant into a director. The biggest thing when working with these aspiring leaders is to endow belief in them that they can do it. Yes, they are the ones that have to do the work. We can't do it for them, but you are their biggest fan and motivator. So we've hit a lot of topics this evening, and I hope you're able to take away at least one new thing to implement in your own business for each topic. Your why, personal growth, selling, recruiting, and developing leaders. Imagine who you could be in 1 year if there was no such thing as impossible. Why couldn't you be the one to speak on stage next year because of the huge growth you will have achieved? What do you imagine you'll have accomplished to do that? Will you have promoted to a director, advanced director, senior, executive or above? Will you have gone from doing a couple parties a month to doing 30 parties a month? Will your monthly income triple or quadruple from what it is right now? Or are you someone who's been in the company for years and has never earned a trip, but you'll earn your first one this year to Disney as an elite achiever? What is your impossible dream? You determine your destiny. No one else can determine it for you. Regardless of whether you have someone who believes in you or not, you have all the capability to become that next rock star in the company, or for yourself. It starts with a choice that you can make tonight that you will be someone great. A choice you will make throughout the rest of conference, that you will be a sponge to learn from the best and to implement their wisdom for yourself. A choice you'll make when you get home to put into action all the amazing things you learned. Don't waste your time and money of coming here to not go home and literally put into your calendar and Google tasks all the new action steps that are going to compound to your achieving success. A choice every day for the next year to do the small things that seem insignificant or unimportant that will compound to you achieving your impossible dream. That is how you as well will have a year of success.